Before we start, pay attention. Every time you spot trivia in this video, keep counting. Comment the final number, stay subscribed, and you could win an Amazon gift card this month. Subscribed? Good. Let's go. A routine day in the city is interrupted when a traffic jam forms and draws the attention of nearby drivers. A businessman has stopped his car in the middle of the street after suddenly losing his sight. Several people approach to assist him, and one man volunteers to drive him home. After arriving at the apartment building and helping the businessman out of the vehicle, the man drives away with the car. Moments later, he returns, pretending to be a different person who has come to help guide the blind man to his apartment and keep him company. The attempt fails. Having already been deceived once, the businessman refuses the offer and forces the man to leave after reaching his apartment safely. A few hours later, the businessman's wife arrives home. After learning that her husband has lost his sight, she immediately takes him to see a specialist. Because of the urgency, the doctor allows them to go ahead of the other patients waiting in the office. The examination reveals no physical damage to the eyes. None of the instruments used during the evaluation show signs of injury or illness. The doctor concludes that the condition may be neurological and recommends that the businessman undergo further testing at a hospital. He also notes that he has never encountered a case like this before. After the couple leaves, the doctor continues seeing the remaining patients in his office, including a child, a woman wearing dark sunglasses, and a man with an eye patch. Meanwhile, the man who stole the car drives through the city while attempting to avoid police attention. During the drive, he also suddenly loses his sight, forcing him to pull over. Unable to continue, he eventually turns to the police for assistance. An officer later takes him to his former home, but his ex-wife refuses to let him enter.
Forget he's a cop! Let me in! All right.
Later that evening, the woman with sunglasses checks into a hotel. After ordering a drink at the bar, she goes upstairs with a client. Shortly after their meeting, her vision also turns white and she realizes she has lost her sight. That same night, the doctor returns home and has dinner with his wife. The following morning, he wakes up unable to see as well.
Oh, God. No! No, God! Oh, God, no, you touched, no!
The couple calls the hospital to report a possible infection, and their warning is taken seriously when the child from the doctor's office arrives there with the same condition. Within a short period of time, cases of sudden blindness begin appearing across the city. Authorities respond by closing the doctor's office and placing him under quarantine. He is transported to an abandoned asylum that has been designated as an isolation facility for the infected. Unwilling to be separated from him, the doctor's wife falsely claims that she has also lost her sight so that she can remain with him during the quarantine. Both of them are taken to the same location. The asylum is empty and no medical staff remain inside the building. Guards stay outside the perimeter. Each ward contains a telephone that can be used only in emergencies, and every ward must designate a single representative authorized to make those calls. More patients continue to arrive, including the thief, the woman with sunglasses, the child, and the businessman. The doctor and his wife agree to keep her ability to see a secret. By claiming that she memorized the layout when they arrived, she guides others through the building when they need assistance. During one trip through the hallway, the thief walks behind the woman with sunglasses and attempts to touch her inappropriately. She responds by kicking him with her heel, causing a deep wound in his leg.
What happened?
With no medical supplies available, the doctor and his wife bandage the injury using a shirt. That night, the doctor's wife remains awake, worried that the wound may become infected and concerned that she might also lose her sight. The following morning, additional patients are brought to the asylum. The businessman reunites with his wife, while the child continues waiting for his mother to arrive. The doctor and his wife attempt to ask the guards for medical assistance for the injured man, but the guards respond by pointing their weapons at them and ordering them back inside. Soon afterward, the first delivery of food arrives. The quality is poor and the quantity is limited. The doctor's wife uses the emergency telephone to request more supplies and a first aid kit, but the only response is an answering machine where she leaves several messages. As the days pass, more infected people are transported to the asylum. The doctor's wife stretches a cloth line between wards so that people can follow it as a guide. The doctor is chosen as the representative of Ward 1. Maintaining order becomes increasingly difficult. With everyone unable to see, cleanliness quickly deteriorates. Many people stop wearing clothes, and the hallways become unsanitary as individuals relieve themselves wherever they can. The businessman attempts to maintain his spirits by speaking with his wife about earlier years of their life together, although she finds it difficult to revisit those memories under the circumstances. One afternoon, the doctor's wife hears a radio playing and discovers that the man with the eye patch has been listening to it privately. She persuades him to share the information with the rest of the ward. According to the broadcasts he has heard, the first 24 hours of the outbreak produced hundreds of cases. Authorities initially responded by isolating infected individuals in facilities, such as the asylum, while ordering the rest of the population to remain indoors. International conferences were held among medical specialists, but they were unable to determine the cause of the illness. Soon afterward, many of those specialists also became infected, and cases began appearing in other countries. Attempts by citizens to leave their homes were stopped by soldiers enforcing restrictions. The growing number of accidents caused by blind drivers and pilots further destabilized the situation. Eventually, most people remained indoors, and large areas of the city became deserted. The government itself appears to have been affected as well. Days later, another large group of infected people arrives at the asylum. During the transfer, soldiers shoot a man who steps out of line by mistake. The gunshot causes panic among the new arrivals, and many of them rush toward the building in confusion. The soldiers leave the body where it fell. The doctor's wife asks the guards for a shovel so the patients can bury the dead. They throw one into the yard from a distance. While pretending to search for it blindly, she eventually retrieves it and returns inside. At the same time, the doctor attempts to coordinate with representatives from other wards in order to organize the burials. 2 more people have been shot, and he also raises concerns that one ward has been taking more food than the others. A man who had previously worked as a bartender interrupts the discussion and declares himself the leader of Ward 3. He announces that his group will eat first and will not assist with the burials until afterward.
I hereby declare myself the king of Ward 3. Long live the king!
Later, the doctor's wife checks on the thief and finds that his wound has become severely infected and he now has a fever. During their conversation, he reveals that he knows she can see, and he threatens to expose her. The confrontation leaves her shaken. Unable to tolerate the pain in his leg any longer, the thief eventually drags himself outside the building and allows the soldiers to shoot him. The doctor's wife feels responsible for what happened and considers revealing the truth about her sight, but the doctor insists that she remain silent. He also expresses concern that their relationship has become more like that of a caregiver and patient than that of a married couple. Sometime later, the bartender and another member of Ward 3, an accountant who has been blind since birth, discover the asylum's administrative office. Using the building's public address system, the bartender announces that he is taking control of the entire facility. His first order is that food will now require payment. The announcement leads to unrest near the food storage area. The bartender then reveals that he managed to keep a handgun when he was brought to the asylum. After firing a warning shot, he orders everyone to step back and declares that Ward 3 will guard the food. Faced with an armed opponent, most people comply. The doctor's wife gathers valuables from the members of her ward, including jewelry and wedding rings, so they can trade for food. While searching through belongings, she also finds a pair of scissors, which she keeps. The child has nothing to offer, but the woman with sunglasses promises to cover his share. At the storage room, the accountant examines the objects by touch in order to judge their value. Regardless of the quality of the items, each ward receives only a small number of food boxes. Rations become extremely limited, and several people are forced to share meals intended for a single person. The doctor withdraws from leadership responsibilities, feeling that he has failed to protect the others. The woman with sunglasses attempts to comfort him, and the 2 of them have an intimate encounter. The doctor's wife later discovers them, but does not confront them. Instead, she quietly tells the woman that she can see and asks her to keep the information secret. A week later, after the wards run out of valuables to trade, the bartender announces a new condition. Women will have to provide sexual services in exchange for food. The doctor's wife goes outside to ask the soldiers why no additional rations have arrived. They tell her that the supplies already delivered are all that they have provided, and that the distribution inside the asylum is not their responsibility. Back in Ward 1, the doctor states that no one can force the women to participate. If anyone chooses to volunteer, the decision must be entirely their own. After discussion, several women agree to go, including the doctor's wife and the woman with sunglasses. The businessman's wife also joins them despite her husband's objections. The accountant escorts the women to the storage room. The encounter becomes violent, and one of the women dies during the assault. The following morning, the doctor's wife asks someone else to collect the food because the women have returned carrying the body. They prepare the body so they can bury her properly. Later that day, the accountant visits Ward 1 again to request additional volunteers. During the conversation, the doctor's wife informs him that one of the women had already died during the previous encounter. He had been unaware of this. Afterward, the doctor's wife takes the scissors and goes to the storage room, while Ward 2 women are present there. While the men are distracted, she kills the bartender with the scissors and leads the women away. The accountant retrieves the handgun and fires several shots, but none of them hit her. Before leaving, the The doctor's wife announces that if the food is not released, more men will die. She declares that she will now be responsible for collecting the rations.
Food! One of your men will die!
The doctor fears that the killing will lead to further conflict. Ward 3 responds by barricading the storage area and still refuses to distribute the food. As Ward 1 prepares to confront them, another woman decides to act on her own. She has kept a lighter hidden and uses it to start a fire inside Ward 3. The flames spread rapidly through the building. Many of the men inside die in the fire. Amid the chaos, the doctor's wife leads the others outside. No gunfire follows their escape because the guards have abandoned their posts. The gates are no longer locked, indicating that the quarantine has ended. The doctor, his wife, the child, the man with the eye patch, the woman with sunglasses, the businessman, and his wife decide to remain together as they move through the city. Outside, they find that normal social order has collapsed. Many blind people wander through the streets searching for food. Some attack others if they suspect they're carrying supplies, and animals are feeding on bodies left in the open. The group takes shelter in a bar while the doctor and his wife search for food at a nearby market. Inside the store, crowds struggle over the remaining items on the shelves. Because she can see, the doctor's wife finds a staircase leading to a storage area while the doctor gathers clothing. After filling several bags with supplies, she attempts to leave. The noise of the items in the bags attracts attention, and several people try to take them from her. The doctor intervenes and shields her from the crowd while they leave the building. Outside, the doctor's wife pauses to regain her composure while the doctor returns briefly to retrieve the clothes he dropped. A stray dog approaches and remains with her. Rain begins to fall, and she enters a nearby church with the dog to wait for her husband. The church is crowded with blind people. Many statues inside have had their eyes covered, while a priest continues delivering a sermon. People outside use the rain to collect water and wash themselves. When the doctor returns with the clothes, he and his wife reunite with the rest of the group at the bar, with the dog now following them. They share the food they have gathered and decide to remain in the bar for the night. The following day, they travel through the city to the apartment of the doctor and his wife, who invite the others to stay there. Over time, the group establishes a routine. With the help of the wife's sight, they clean the apartment and organize their supplies. They leave the building only when necessary to search for food and collect water whenever it rains. The man with the eye patch expresses his wish to remain with the group permanently. The businessman's wife gradually reconnects with her husband, and the doctor and his wife begin restoring their relationship. Several weeks later, as the group prepares breakfast, the businessman suddenly announces that he can see again. His sight has returned as abruptly as it disappeared. The others celebrate the moment. The recovery suggests that the blindness may be temporary and that those affected may eventually regain their sight. Thankful for your sight? Comment the trivia count now.